the cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being there. Everyone's thanking. The whole world's thanking us for thanking you for thanking us. Kill the turkey. Pa, 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 pass. I thank you and welcome to Whining About Herstory, the women's history podcast where two besties with breasties whine about women from history that you probably haven't heard of, but Def should have. I'm Emily.
I'm Kelly.
And I want to thank Kelly for letting me take over the intro because Kelly's like, shit, I don't have an intro. And I'm like, I have one. Yes. And I kind of want to do it because you can only do it once a year.
Yeah, but about now.
It's the Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving song.
It's so great. I was jamming out over here.
I actually said that in front of my parents one time. I didn't sing it, but I was just like, you know, we're around the table and we're all like saying something. I was like, pass the cranberry sauce. We're having mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being there.
That's so funny.
Everyone's thanking. Like I did a spoken word version of it. And my partner at the time is looking at me. He's like, are you really fucking doing this right now?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you bet your ass I am.
It's one of those, like, your parents probably don't know what, like, that this is a thing.
That's why it was funny.
Yeah. I kind of want to do that next year.
Exactly why it was funny.
I should try it tomorrow at my in-laws and see if anyone gets it. I'll let you know.
100% support this. Thanksgiving anarchy.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is our Thanksgiving episode, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, I was like dying, so we missed a week. Sorry.
No, you know what? I'm glad that you didn't die, though.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm otherwise doing this podcast would really suck.
Just silence, like.
It's just me talking to myself and riffing with absolutely no accountability or boundaries.
You still come over here and use the studio sometimes, and it's just like, why are you in my house?
I just start laughing randomly, and Kelly's like, there's no one in there. It's like, I'm talking to Kelly's ghost.
Yeah, she's still here. Just because you can't see her doesn't mean she's not here.
Our love is stronger than death, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Your husband's like, well, why can't I see her ghost? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you should have loved her more.
Exactly. That's you. That's a you problem, sir.
I'm sorry that our love was so pure and beautiful that it granted me ghost powers.
Yep.
You should have tried harder.
Could be the wine, too. We're not sure.
You should have put the fucking seat down, buddy.
That's funny.
Oh, my goodness. Well, we are recording remote because it's just after Thanksgiving and it's a little crazy and a snowstorm is coming. So, you know, just doing this all from the comfort of our own homes. But Kelly, what are you drinking?
Okay. So I think this might be a wine that I won when we went to Wine and Wolves like 2 or 3 years ago. So I think this is a local, like a Minnesota-based wine, I think. Yeah, it is. It's from North Branch, Minnesota. I actually know where that is.
Ooh.
So this is Moon Ridge wine. It's a red table wine from the North Ridge Winery. It does not have a description on it.
It's okay because it has a Minnesota accent.
According to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages during pregnancy. This one's actually on an extra line. It says, according to the Surgeon General, women should not drink alcoholic beverages. Drop a line. During pregnancy.
See, it's always the line drop. It's always like, comma, during pregnancy.
So yes, Moon Ridge. It is a pretty label, though. It has like a mountain and a hawk or an eagle. And yeah, it's from like North Branch is like 2 hours north of the Twin Cities-ish. I have a cousin that lives up there, so I know where it is.
Oh, okay. So that's like kind of north-ish. That means south of Duluth.
It's like not as far as like Duluth or even like Brainerd, but yeah, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours north of the cities.
I know everyone's definition of up north is a little different. For me, it starts.
It's not like
with
that
Duluth.
far. Yeah, I was gonna say
Duluth.
That's why I specified north of the Twin Cities.
Yes.
I was like, it's not like it's not true like up north getaway, but it's north of the Twin Cities.
But then I feel like if you live in Duluth or Two Harbors or any of those towns. Up north is like the Boundary Waters.
Yeah, up north is the Boundary Waters or Canada.
Or it's Canada. It's just Canada.
Yeah.
But for us, at the southern tippy tip of the state, Duluth is up north.
Yes. What are you drinking?
So I am drinking some hot apple cider with Apples Are Us cinnamon apple spirit, and that is from a local orchard. They make apple spirits, and they're fucking baller. This is the place where they were making a special apple spirit.
I think it was like a brandy or something.
Yeah. And they had just started making it, and we were talking to the like head distiller, who's this like badass older lady.
Yeah, she was awesome.
And the batch was literally so new, the bottles were in single digits. So Kelly, whose last name used to be Nickel, she got bottle. Did you get bottle
number 5? It was either 5 or 15. I can't remember.
Yeah. You got like and I got
something
number 7
because
that's my favorite, and I still have that bottle. I'll never get rid of it.
It was really good too. Like, especially for their. So I think it was like a year aged, and it was like their first like uncasking of it, but it was like their first run, and it was really good.
Oh, sorry,
Don't die.
Hit a little pocket of apple spirit in there.
Yeah, I was like, it's supposed to be less intense than Fireball, Emily.
Not the way I drink it. Not the way I pour. Oh my goodness. Well, Kelly,
I get to go first.
Oh wait, shit. Where are we cheersing to?
Thanksgiving, and thank everyone for listening, and cheers to you.
We're so thankful for y'all. If this is going into your ear holes right now, you're blessed.
Yeah, and we love you.
But like in the real way, not the hashtag blessed way.
Yeah, exactly. Like legitimately blessed.
The
like
chaotic,
people are going to see a glowing aura around you of chaos.
The lovable menace and the chaos cupcake have blessed thee. Cheers.
Cheers.
Still a little thing with my ring.
It was good. I guess I got a cheers with the bottle. I didn't even think about it.
I'm also drinking out of my Menger Hotel cup.
Nice. I'm drinking out of one of ours.
Oh, lovely. I want to go back there and stay at the Menger Hotel.
I'll go with you. We'll do a spooky bitches thing.
I'm just like so horny for haunted hotels.
Yeah. I mean, why not?
Exactly. Maybe I'll find another woman in that haunted hotel to cover.
That would be so cool.
That's just going to be
her room again.
That's going to be the spin-off podcast I do where it's super niche, where it's like spooky bitches in haunted hotels.
Yeah.
And it's just women associated with haunted hotels.
That would actually be really cool. Because there's definitely like a few.
Oh, for sure. Oh my God. Any cool hotel has a ghost.
Right? And like for some reason, a lot of them are women because that's spookier for some reason.
Very. I mean, we are horrifying.
I mean, that's true.
To be nagged from the grave is every man's greatest fear.
Right? What, like the saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Hell hath no fury like a woman.
She'll come back and haunt your ass.
Hell hath no fury like a woman who has a photographic memory for everything you've done that's pissed her off.
Right.
And she's just waiting.
And death will not stop her.
She's waiting to whip it out. So,
funny.
Kelly, who are you whining about today?
Oh, I am whining about Anne Pamela Cunningham.
Ooh, Anne Pamela Cunningham.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's very like...
Pinkies up.
Pinkies up. I know. I was like, what am I doing right now? My brain.
I know this isn't true. I hope she went by Anne Pamela. Or it's like, oh, hi, Anne. No. It's Anne Pamela.
Right. Like, you have to say my full name.
Oh, okay.
Anne Pamela.
It can't just say Anne. No. It's Anne Pamela. It's like, okay, respect, bitch.
Right. So, Anne Pamela was born on August 15th, 1816 in South Carolina to a wealthy slave-holding family.
Oh, God damn it, Kelly.
Yep. We're in that era.
Why?
So, yeah. So she grew up with all the luxuries and expectations of a Southern belle, but she wasn't what you'd call a typical like lady of leisure, which is like usually like the upper society that, you know, just kind of like do their own thing. Part of that is like her life took a major turn when she was a teenager. She got into a riding accident on a horse that left her with severe spinal damage and chronic pain for the rest of her life. It doesn't appear from like what I've seen. Like I literally tried to research exactly like, because a lot of articles just said like permanently disabled. I'm like, could she not walk? Like what are we talking about here? But it like even in her portraits, it doesn't look like she like most of her portraits are of her standing and stuff like that. But it sounds like, yeah, it was still disabling, just not like she wasn't like paralyzed or anything. But yeah, like severe spinal cord damage, chronic pain for the rest of her life. And she's a teenager at this point. So like that sucks. And it very much was, you know, like she can't really be that typical Southern belle because she can't necessarily like go to balls and stuff like that.
It's kind of like we see people with disabilities who, you know, maybe it's like they can walk, but not for long periods of time. So they have a handicap parking tab, and then people yell at them because they get out of the car and they can walk under their own power. And it's like disabilities affect people differently.
Right. Yeah,
and
it's like maybe I can walk from here to the store and then I need like a wheelchair once I get in there, you know, like it.
Or people will like have a disability where like it flares up and they're having a bad day where it's like I'm exhausted. I do not have the physical energy to walk through the whole parking lot, you know, and that kind of thing. So yeah. I mean, it sounds like her disability. It wasn't like black and white.
No, exactly. But
it's a good reminder for all of us.
Exactly. But it definitely like meant that she couldn't really live that typical Southern belle, you know, marry, host parties, stuff like that she had kind of like probably been expected to. So, you know, and Pamela had to find another way to make her mark on life. And that opportunity actually came from her mother. So one night in 1853, her mother and her... This is interesting, too, because like some reports say it was just her mother. Some reports say it was both of them. Either way, her mom either wrote to her or they saw it together and she made a comment. But they were traveling down the Potomac River by boat because where they lived and where Anne would get a lot of her like physical therapy were like a boat ride apart. So they would just do that. And they passed Mount Vernon, and Anne's mother saw the house of George Washington, like the George Washington, like literally falling apart where it sat, like broken shutters, cracked walls, decaying wood. It was basically just like an abandoned ghost house. And
that blows my mind because we are so hard for the founding fathers.
I know, right?
In particular, George Washington.
Yeah.
But I also understand it's like because there's been so much time. I mean, she was born in 1816. So like not that long after the United States declared its independence.
Yeah.
So like the idea of like, oh yeah, the guy who's running the country, his house looks like shit. We're not designating funds for that.
Right.
You know? Because he's just
especially
a guy
in,
at
like,
this
the
point.
50s, you know, like 1850s. But he must have been a big enough guy because her mom, like I said, either wrote a letter to Anne or like said to her as she saw it, basically being like, you know, I saw it. Yeah, it's falling apart. It's like super tragic. You know, like, yeah, why doesn't someone save it? Like, why don't people, particularly like the women of this country, like band together to do something about this? You know, basically just was kind of, you know, I took it as not willing to do something about it, but making comments about how people should do something about it. And I'm like, oh, her mom was one of those people.
To be fair, relatable. Like,
yeah.
there are plenty of things. Like, here's the thing. I have absolutely no fucking power to change things. But I'm like, hey, those in power, you guys should be fucking doing something about it.
Yeah.
Because you do have the power and the authority and the money and the know-how.
Exactly.
Shouldn't
You
be
bring
up to me.
You bring it to the people who need to know's attention.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, however, when Anne heard about it from her mother, Anne and Pamela was like, you know what? I'm going to be the one to do something about this. So, yep. She's in her like 20s to 30s at the time. She's been disabled for most of her life at this point. You know, like it's crazy. But she's like, nope, I'm going to do this. So at the time, Mount Vernon was owned by George Washington's great grandnephew, a man named John Augustine Washington III.
Ooh, he's a third.
Yeah. When he was talking to Anne about like restoring the house, he revealed that he had been offered $300,000 for the property. And at the time, he had apparently approached Congress and the Virginia legislator to sell the property for $200,000. So he was like, I will give you a deal on this property for this man that ran the country.
Okay.
They weren't super interested, or at least at first didn't like respond. So Anne, like, especially when she heard he had already reached out, like basically tried to assist him in getting the government involved. She wrote to Congress. She wrote to the legislator. She basically wrote to like anyone she could think of being like, hey, like buy the property, buy the house, you know, like we can set up a committee to like figure it out, but like we should preserve it. So you should buy it instead of just letting like random investors buy it and do who knows what with it.
I mean, it's entirely possible that house would not be standing.
Yeah.
Like if it was in really bad shape, they probably would have busted it down.
Exactly. But surprise, surprise, you know, basically everyone told her no, because apparently, you know, saving the home of the first president wasn't high on their list, although to be honest, they were probably both preoccupied with the impending Civil War at the time. But still, like you'd almost think the South would be almost even more so like, we need to save this and be like, oh, our first, you know, like the first president was from the South. He would agree with. I'm like kind of surprised they didn't like almost rally around that.
It feels like kind of an easy political home run.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, restoring the home of the first president who was a Southerner and a slave holder.
He was liked across the board.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying during a time of great divide, you think this would be like, okay, this is what's going to get everyone on the same page. Yeah. Now, that being said, I used to think that, you know, feeding children was a no-brainer, but we fight about that too, because believe it or not, there are a lot of people who are like, feeding children, ew.
Why should we do that?
Why should I feed children?
Yeah.
Let them die. And, oh God, what's the line from A Christmas Carol? It's like, let them die and deplete the like social deficit or something.
Oh, yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just remember that this holiday season.
Don't be like the people from A Christmas Carol.
There was
supposed to be a moral in that. It was supposed to be don't be an asshole.
Yeah, it wasn't an instructional manual on how to be a Scrooge. It was an instructional manual on God, please do not be this person because he's a fucking monster.
Right? And you will die sad and alone.
Yep. And everyone's going to piss on his grave.
Yeah. So Anne, as most women we cover in this story, Anne Pamela was like, okay, fine. Like, if the men aren't going to do it, I will figure something out, and the women will do something about it. And on December 2nd, 1853, she wrote a letter, like, in a newspaper, and addressed it to the ladies of the South. It was originally published in the Charleston Mercury, which was a paper at the time, I think specific to South Carolina, but like kind of maybe slightly more widely distributed. But basically, it was, just a letter calling it on the ladies of the South to raise money for the first president's home. Like, she didn't necessarily even say like you need to donate money, but it was kind of like, let's, hold bake sales and sell stuff and like ask our churches and kind of like, let's pool together and do stuff so we can like get money to save this house.
What I will say of Southern ladies,
they do tend to do that.
They are excellent organizers and fundraisers.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there's a reason the Daughters of the Confederacy have essentially rewritten history books across the nation. They are very good at getting together, raising money, and pushing influence.
Yep.
Like, so yeah, raising money for a patriotic cause through like bake sales and shit. This is their bread and butter.
Right. So she would found something called the Mount Vernon's Ladies Association. Kind of really before this whole ball even got rolling, she kind of like already like knew what she wanted to do. And this was like revolutionary, the fact that she was founding an association at all, because this is, as far as we know, one of, if not the first nationwide female-led preservation movements in the United States. And this was long before like any type of women's club were really a thing or like allowed. And so there was like no infrastructure on like how to do this or how it should be regulated or really anything. And so Anne basically just built it herself by being like, okay, well, this is what we need to do. How do we get it done? She didn't have a template to follow. It's
got to be really intimidating to not have a guide to follow. I also feel like at this time there's so many things that they didn't have to worry about, where it's like, oh, no, we're just going to do it. We don't have to check any boxes. We don't have to get anyone's permission.
It's kind of nice. Yeah.
We just get to fucking do it. Old school guerrilla style. Like, we're just going to show up and start selling baked goods. We don't need a permit. We don't need a license. We don't need a ergonomic
we're just gonna
kitchen.
do it.
We just do it.
Yeah, exactly. So she would, like, her first thing was, like, she had written the original letter, and then she continued writing open letters, but she expanded her reach, and she would write under a pseudonym, just simply a Southern matron. Like, she wouldn't put her name, she would just put a Southern matron, and she actually would send this out all across the country. She would call to women from every state, north and south, did not matter, like, basically sent these letters out everywhere she could, basically just putting the call out to help save Mount Vernon. And remember that, like, she's sending this north and south, and this is right before the Civil War. But like me and Emily said, like, we're shocked that the like governments didn't get on it, because people did. They came together for this common cause to save like one of the founding fathers' houses, our first, like the nation's first president. It didn't matter, if they agreed with slavery or not. They were kind of just like, hey, this is an important piece of our history, and like we should probably preserve it. Like, that's a good idea.
You know, whether or not to own people of color is a divisive issue, but we can all get behind a dead white man.
Exactly.
Apparently.
But this was basically like a patriotic peace project led entirely by women.
No, totally. And I think it's really important. Yeah, like you said, to note, this is a time where the country is literally about to break apart.
Yeah.
And this effort is bringing people together.
Yeah, exactly. And organized, essentially massive fundraising campaigns. Basically, each state kind of formed their own local committees with like Anne and the Mount Vernon Ladies Society at like the head of it, the overarching. They sold ribbons, hosted fairs, collected donations, like literally just like nickels and dimes and coins, until they raised the $200,000 needed to buy the estate. That's the equivalent of several $1 million today.
I was going to say $200,000
without the internet
in 1800s money. I'm like,
they did this without the internet, without voting rights. There's no GoFundMe. There's no, like, this is before Girl Scout cookies and fundraising that way was a thing. This is purely like Anne sending out letters. Like, I'm guessing most of it was written communication.
Man, I can't even organize people in a group text.
Yeah.
Let alone individuals across a country where everyone's ready to fucking kill each other.
So it took a long time for them to gather that. Like, let me just say that. Like, it wasn't like months and that. Like, it took until 1858. So what? She started in 1853.
Oh, so like 5 years.
Yeah, and that was just to get the down payment of $18,000. Yeah.
That's still really impressive.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, so Anne and one of her vice regents, went and visited Washington III at Mount Vernon, to basically sign like the official terms of the transaction. Basically, it was like, hey, we're going to put this down payment down, and now you have 4 years to pay off the remaining $182,000 by February 22nd, 1862. So it's kind of like, we're not just going to let you like buy the house outright for the down payment, because like, you know, bank loans like we have today are not really a thing. But it was similar in that, yeah, like the original owner could repossess the house if you don't pay it.
Right, right.
So after delivering the down payment, Aunt Pamela like would busy herself with selecting additional vice regents and like people to come and help like start the restoration, but also continue raising funds. And they also started publishing the Mount Vernon Record, which was a newspaper that chronicled basically what the association was doing and would like print the names of everyone that contributed money.
This is pretty cool. Such early like fundraising stuff that we still see today.
Yeah.
You have a newsletter where you let people know what you're doing with the money they donated and what, you know, what progress you're making and acknowledging donors.
This is Anne's Patreon.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
So Anne Pamela would become like the first overarching regent of the society. Obviously, that makes sense. You know, she was basically already in charge, but like she officially became the boss lady in charge and would live basically on the property to oversee its early restoration and make sure that it was open to the public. Or sorry, would be able to be open to the public and preserved for future generations. With Washington III's blessing, Pamela arranged the first restoration efforts like within that first year. However, due to the nation's political climates and everything like that, and, you know, war breaking out and the fact that most restoration projects and like carpentry and stuff at that time were done by men, things kind of stopped pretty quickly. And from 1861 to 1865, there was a civil war in America. So
ever heard of it?
That was a thing. And also, like, you think of like where a lot of the fighting was. There was a lot of fighting in South Carolina near where Mount Vernon is. So like, yeah, people were kind of fighting for their beliefs at the time.
Half of them were wrong.
Yeah.
Just gonna say it. You can't own people. You can't own and abuse people.
No, I agree. And Anne at this time had originally planned to like stay on Mount Vernon, not necessarily to continue restoration, but just to kind of stay and make sure it didn't like get torched or anything.
Right.
But would ultimately return to South Carolina, leaving one of her vice regents in her stead. So someone like from the association was still on the property. Basically, it was because her mom, who was getting older, but also just like her mom was like, you're in chronic pain. You're, you know, like a woman on your own. Like maybe for your safety, you should come home. And then her mom also threw in like, I'm getting older and I could use help here. And like your father passed away within the last few years, so I could use help managing that. You know, like it was a little bit of like, you probably shouldn't do this mixed with like, I do need your help.
Very classic mom stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is really for your own good. And if that doesn't get them there, then you drag them across the line with, also, I'm old and sick and alone. It's like,
okay, I
need
your help. Yeah.
Mom guilt. Got it.
Right. So the woman who would stay was a woman named Sarah C. Tracy, who would stay to protect Mount Vernon. I couldn't find anything that like anything happened or anyone like showed up to try to torch it. So she probably just like hung out.
Because Sarah Tracy was like sitting on the porch with a shotgun, just being like,
oh, yeah. They basically walked by and was like, you know, let's not.
Give me a reason.
Right.
I have no rights and I'm so angry.
Yeah. So during her absence from the estate, unfortunately, like Anne Pamela's health would decline. She's getting older. She has a lot of chronic pain. However, in 1866, so like right after the war, all the vice regents had like their first ever meeting where they would all like come from all over the country to meet now that the war is over. And Anne was able to travel and go to it and like address everyone and be like, this is what we're doing. And so they actually met in Washington, and she would also go and meet with members of Congress to pursue a bill for basically Congress had taken the Mount Vernon steamboat. So it had its own steamboat because it's like right on the Potomac. Mm-hmm. But basically the Congress, as they are allowed to, I think, do during war, they commandeered the steamboat for use during the Civil War. But basically Anne went to them and they were like, hey, like that was like a big chunk of our income. Like, because we would use it to like give people rides and stuff like that. And it's like, you were transporting soldiers and supplies. And we understand that. But at the same time, like, this was a loss of income for us. And that's like not okay. Basically you need to pay us back. And Congress actually did.
Fucking fair.
And they granted the association about $7,000. So that's pretty great.
That's impressive, getting money out of the government.
Well, and that's exactly it. My next line is literally like, let's pause for a second just to remember a few facts of this story. And Pamela was a woman who could barely walk without assistance, was in chronic pain almost every day of her life, living in an era that didn't allow women to hold any political power. She's speaking to members of Congress, and she created the first major historic preservation effort that the U.S. had seen. That's insane. And she actually got Congress to do something about it.
We do love a history girly.
So, yeah. And obviously, I'm not gonna, we're gonna touch on what I said at the beginning now, but, like many figures from history, Aunt Pamela was complicated. She had a few warts. She did come from a slaveholding family, lived through the Civil War as a Confederate sympathizer because she grew up in the South.
Yep.
So her legacy isn't, like I said, without its dark sides or its warts or anything, especially as Emily has pointed out continuously through the story, Mount Vernon itself was maintained by enslaved people when George Washington lived there and probably under his family after him. And so I think, we need to balance both, because there is both true. So she did amazing things. And she still had a lot of racism and classism congruent with her time. That doesn't make it okay. But, it's also par for the time course. But yeah, that doesn't make it okay.
No, and I think we can acknowledge her role in preserving Mount Vernon and, leading, and we can be like, wow, super cool for a woman to do that. She was also a slaveholder, and that's fucking awful and really, really unforgivable. Both things can be true. People talk about when we change the name of a street or a school or so we're erasing history. It's like, no, that
we're just
person,
putting a different history up front.
Exactly. That person still existed, still made whatever contributions they did, good and bad. It's just we're choosing who to honor with that history. It's about, okay, there's remembering history and acknowledging it, preserving it, which I think everyone agrees needs to happen. It is a different thing to honor someone from history who was incredibly damaging to huge populations of people. So totally acknowledge, wow, she did the Mount Vernon thing. That's awesome, especially at a time when women had no political power. And Disabilla babe, get on it. Yeah. Let's not name streets after her, though.
Right. It's a balance.
Yeah.
So toward the end of her life, Anne would retire from the organization. This was about 1874. And in her farewell address, she reminded the women of the association to protect Washington's memory and to remember that their work was about something bigger than any one member of the organization. She said, quote, "Let one spot in this grand country be ours, or of ours, be saved from change. Let it stand as our fathers built it." Cool. Anne Pamela would pass away in 1875, but her legacy literally still stands on the hill above the Potomac River. Because of her, millions of people have walked through the halls of Mount Vernon and stood in its gardens and been on its steamboat and looked out over the same river that George Washington once did. Basically, all thanks to one woman who refused to let it be ignored. The Mount Vernon's Ladies Association, which she founded, still exists today, and they
way.
Yeah, they continue to maintain Mount Vernon independently and without government funding, exactly as Anne had originally intended.
Holy shit! Seriously?
Yeah. Once Congress and the legislator said no, she was like, "Fine, we're gonna fucking do it on our own."
It's kind of like Lindsay Sterling, where like record companies wouldn't touch her. She became famous on her own, and then record companies were like, "Hey," and she's like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so
my
her
God.
her model of women-led preservation inspired later efforts to save other historic landmarks and even influenced the National Trust for Historic Preservation.
That's incredible. And because I just assumed it was probably within the national parks system at this point.
I don't believe so, because I remember I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, nope, they're still like their own entity.
So the federal government has no control, or like no more control than they would have on any other property of the first president's historic home.
Yeah.
They had their chance. That's incredible.
Exactly.
That's really fucking incredible.
Well, and I think, yeah, exactly. But, and like you said, like, I don't think like Anne should be forgotten, but it's remembered with the piece of remembering all of who she was.
Exactly. It's like, I think it would be really fascinating to tour a plantation. But if it's all about the glitz and the glamour and like, oh, and the society family and the ball, I'm like, that's not the whole history. You're leaving out a huge portion of it. You can't omit that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is fascinating.
So, yeah, I think it's crazy, but that's Anne, and you know, she kind of showed that, you know, preservation, patriotism, being a pain in the ass to Congress, and you know, determination, as well as like gathering women from fucking everywhere is something women can do.
The power of organizing and not going away.
Yeah.
Because so many people in institutions, they just want you to give up and go away. I was actually, I was talking with someone I work with, and they were applying for, I think, some medical benefits or something. And I told them, I was like, okay, here's the thing. If they deny you, appeal it.
Yep.
Go back, because unless you are like, I have no limbs, or, you know, where it's just
exactly,
you know, like super, super extreme, they will deny you because they want you to go away. Now,
exactly,
if you appeal,
like they're hoping you just will lose hope.
Yeah, you'll give up,
go away.
You'll be like, okay, I guess I don't get this. And so I talked to this person a little while ago, and they're like, oh, I took your advice. They denied me and I appealed it, and then they accepted. And I'm like, every fucking time, those assholes.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Well, and from a bureaucratic standpoint, I kind of understand it, because it's like, oh, everyone's applying for, you know, because they got something. And they're just like kind of filtering through like the people who will really work for it. But at the same time, you shouldn't have to like work for the benefits that you're entitled
Yeah.
to, especially if you're ill.
Exactly. I was like, sometimes if you have chronic pain or stuff like that, like it's hard to do that.
Yes.
But I did double
God.
check, and yeah, it is still run by the Mount Vernon's Ladies Association. It is, a 401(c)(3), whatever it is.
501c3.
It is a nonprofit.
501c3.
And they do not accept government aid. And it actually says, we are very proud that we do not accept government aid.
Damn right they
Fuck
are.
Yeah. So, yeah, like her legacy, like physically still stands. And yeah, I had heard about her and I was like, all right, little controversial in some of her stances, but cool that she was able to pull off what she did. And like, and show that there are those things, especially in this time period, that do cross state lines and do cross political lines. You know?
Yeah, there is always an opportunity for unity.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, too, that it's not under federal control because, Commander Cheeto cannot walk in there and put in some, like, cheap-ass Home Depot appliques painted gold and make that his summer house or whatever.
Right,
like,
exactly.
He cannot touch that.
Thank you, God.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, so that was Anne Pamela.
Also, thank you for using her full name, Anne Pamela.
Anne Pamela.
Which is very lovely.
Who are you whining about, Emily?
So, in honor of Thanksgiving, which is also recognized as a day of mourning, I decided to cover an Indigenous woman from Minnesota to learn a little bit more about the Native people who lived and worked here before we murdered them all.
I'm excited about this.
Yeah.
I will say neither Emily or I participated in this murder, but our government definitely did.
Yeah. For sure. Well, and here's the thing. We benefited from it.
Yeah.
Like, I hate saying that. I hate admitting that, but we absolutely
didn't
benefit
have
from
a
it.
choice in it, but
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Like, unfortunately, and I think it's important we recognize that.
I think it would have been so much cooler if there was like more of an integration with the Indigenous people. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this country, whatever it would look like, would just be so much cooler.
It'd be so much better, too.
Oh my God. Can you fucking imagine? Ugh.
Yeah.
Wasted opportunities, people.
Yeah. People are dumb.
Thanks,
They
Andrew
waste
Jackson, you
opportunities.
piece of shit. Anyway, today I'm whining about Maud Keg.
Ooh.
So I
do
do
like a good
have
Maud.
a few definitions. I do have some vocab to go over.
I like vocab.
And this was really helpful for me because whenever you or I cover Indigenous women, I feel like we're almost learning a new language and we're
Yeah.
trying to piece together, okay, well, what does this mean? And then who's in this like tier? Because it's like,
Yeah.
you can be Ojibwe, but you're also Anishinaabe, but you're not a part of this band of Ojibwe. But sometimes people say Chippewa instead of it's
Yep.
like I get very confused.
Yeah.
So we're going to go from top to bottom. So Anishinaabe, this refers to the Indigenous peoples who historically lived in the Great Lakes region. So like northern Minnesota and Canada and that area.
Mhm.
So the Ojibwe are they're culturally connected, but there are different nations under the
Okay.
Anishinaabe like nationality.
Yeah, so that's like that is the larger nationality, and then the nation is like nested underneath that. And then
Yes.
there's probably like tribes nested underneath the nation.
Exactly. So
Okay.
Ojibwe is a specific nation among the Anishinaabe people. Ojibwe is the term that is typically used by Ojibwe people. And then if there's a certain tribe or band they're a part of, it will be like the Mille Lacs band of Ojibwe
Or you'll hear,
or the
like,
Red Lake
the-
band
yeah.
or
Or it'll be,
something like that.
hyphenated sometimes, I think.
And I know we've had this conversation in the past. So Chippewa is like the French / English bastardization of the word Ojibwe. And
I
is still
did not know that, actually.
It
Or
blows my
if
mind.
I
I'm
did,
like,
didn't remember it.
these words do not sound alike at all.
No.
Only French could fuck it up that much.
I'm like, yeah, like that's just like not even close.
Yeah. So it's not a term typically used by Ojibwe people. It is used by governments. So that's why you will sometimes see someone who's like, I'm Ojibwe. I'm part of the, Fond du Lac Chippewa band, because that is how they're federally recognized.
Okay.
So
shitty.
Chippewa is like the suit term. Ojibwe is like the appropriate term. And then something else I learned, if a band of people are designated as non-removable, that means they were not forcibly relocated from their ancestral land during the period of American Indian removal in the 19th century.
Oh.
Which is actually a really important part to the story.
I mean, it's cool that like there are people we didn't remove. It is sad that we have to have that designation because we did that to so many people.
Yes. So, in 1904, in Crow Wing County, Minnesota, near Portage Lake, a family gathered in a birch bark and cattail wigwam. Wigwams were semi-permanent dome structures made from arched branches and covered in roofing materials such as animal hides or branches, and could be used for a variety of purposes depending on the tribe and their culture. From ceremonial events to sweat lodges, these structures served many important purposes, and in this case, to welcome new life into the world.
Aww.
And Kelly, if you go into my notes, there is a picture of an Anishinaabe wigwam. Actually, I think it's like Ojibwe specifically.
That's cool.
Because they all look different depending on the nation, the tribe, because it's based on like what materials you have at your disposal.
Yeah, those are really cool.
So her name was Nowakami Gukwe, doing my best, which means middle of earth lady in Ojibwe. The world would know her better as Maud. Born to her mother, Nancy Pine, Aguadashins, and her father, Charles Mitchell Guayon, who are also Ojibwe. Because her family did not measure time according to the Western European calendar, the exact date of her birth is unknown. So Maud got to actually choose her birthday.
That's kind of a neat thing.
Yeah. So she chose August 26th as her birthday because her birth was during the wild rice harvest. And that was the start of harvest season.
Okay.
She said, I was born on land my grandmother homesteaded. I always heard it was ricing time on the lake, so I picked August 26th.
It's a nice day.
And if you're a Minnesotan, you know we're fucking wild for our wild rice.
Yeah.
Soup, bread, everything. If you ever go up north, if there's wild rice and fish, you get it.
Oh, yeah. That's so good, too.
Just what you do. Oh, walleye?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck me. So, tragically, as Maud entered the world, her mother left it, dying in childbirth. Which is just so fucking sad. Maud was born on her people's ancestral lands, something that was becoming less common for Indigenous people since the Indian Removal Act was signed in 1830. This act gave the President of the United States power to take native lands west of the Mississippi, forcing tribes off their ancestral lands to be moved further west. And we've touched on this before, but something that's incredibly sinister about that, like, it's not just all the people who died on the Trail of Tears, but you're taking people from like
you're moving them to completely different states, which means new game to hunt, new
entirely
materials,
new
just completely
climates.
different. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of who it was, but there was a woman we covered where I think they got moved from the Southwest to like Florida. And the humidity and the illness there just
was really bad. Yeah.
Really, really took its toll on people. So it's not like us where it's like, oh, I have to go to a new house and a new school. It's like our whole way of life, our entire way of life, we have to relearn that.
Yeah.
Because we live in present day Oregon now, or
and it's like
Arizona when we lived in northern Minnesota.
So much of their lives and traditions and who they are related to the land they live on. So to have that taken away and then basically just be told, well, this is your land now, it's like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It wasn't just moving people from point A to point B. It was a genocide in every sense of the word, because you're stealing life, you're stealing culture, you're stealing land.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So yeah, the Indian Removal Act, shitty, fucking awful. Millions of people were killed. Maud's father, Charles, was a member of the non-removable Mille Lacs Indians. So this band of Ojibwe people had not been forcibly removed from their ancestral lands. That didn't mean they were immune to the effects of a rapidly changing world. As semi-nomadic people, the Mitchell family observed the traditional seasonal cycle, moving to different locations during different seasons. And this was interesting. I didn't really know this about the Ojibwe specifically.
Yeah, I remember learning about it. It's super cool.
Well, and I grew up in Illinois, so we learned about different tribes and nations and how they lived. So I'm like, oh yeah, my Ojibwe education is not where it should be.
Lacking a little.
So during spring, the family settled in a sugar bush camp along Mille Lacs to harvest sap from maple trees and process it into maple sugar. In the summer, they moved to the wild rice fields, traveling by foot, horse, or birch bark canoes to harvest rice and catch fish. During the fall, they moved to Rice Lake, where Maud learned how to set up a ricing camp, making birch bark homes and parching, threshing, and winnowing the wild rice. Because it's like a whole process. You don't just pick it up and you're like, I has rice.
I has rice now.
I has rice now. Can I has rice? However, during the winter,
after a lot of work, you can has rice.
Yeah, after a fuck ton of work. I mean, honestly, after reading this, I didn't get into the whole ricing camp process, but I was like, I think I'm gonna savor wild rice soup a little more next time, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like anytime you get a bowl of wild rice soup, it should come with a little pamphlet on this is how this grain is harvested. This
is how the sausage was made. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And don't send it back because it's not salty enough, you fucking monster.
Just add your own salt, goddammit.
Right? It's it's on the table. It's on the fucking table, you bitch. However, during the winter, the family lived in a farmhouse where they also maintained a garden, and Maud attended school in a one-room schoolhouse as the only native among her classmates.
Wow.
As Maud recalls, she never experienced bullying from her classmates.
Wow, that's amazing.
Here's the thing. I'm here for women telling their own stories, but I'm like, I got bullied for wearing the wrong fucking socks.
Yeah.
You were.
Well, I wonder if it's maybe it was bullying by excluding and just not talking to her, and she just was like, well, I didn't get picked on, so I didn't get bullied. You know?
I mean, I do trust her recollections, or maybe it's she was bullied like every other kid is bullied.
Yeah.
It wasn't because she was
shocking,
native,
though,
But I thought that was really cool, because
kids are assholes.
These are children in the early 1900s. We all know that the emotional regulation in children is terrible, and they say some of the most awful fucking shit.
When they pick up on what their parents say. And
yes.
So if their parents are racist, even if the kid maybe isn't actually racist, they might say some stuff that is, because that's how their parents talk.
Oh yeah, I think I've told this story before, but when I was a preschool teacher, I had a little girl tell a little white girl tell a little black boy that you can't sit next to me because you're brown. And I'm like, and me and the other teacher look at each other like, did we just actually fucking hear that?
Right.
And we're like, our friends can sit wherever they want. Like, you don't get to tell people where they can and cannot sit.
Right.
And then we read a bunch of books about, like, we look different and that's okay and we all love each other. But I was just like, I was shocked by her.
You know it has to be a parent saying that.
They were both like 3.
Yeah.
So I was shocked by her,
that.
but I'm like, she fucking picked that up somewhere.
Exactly.
So I'm like, she's shocking. The family's just like, that's disgusting.
Right.
So yeah, the fact that she's going to school in the early 1900s and not getting picked on, it's like, no, this is a choice. This is something we can control. So like most of her classmates, Maud would only complete her education up to 8th grade. That was kind of the cutoff.
Yeah, that's like standard. Yeah.
In addition
to
for
girls.
Yeah. In addition to traditionally Western schooling, Maud learned about her culture and heritage primarily from her maternal grandmother, Margaret Pine Akogwan, who became her primary caregiver after Maud's mother's death.
Okay.
So Maud grew up in a world that straddled the line of her traditional Ojibwe heritage and the rapidly advancing European influence. She learned English from aunts and white neighbors while learning traditional Ojibwe histories and practices from her grandmother. Quote, At nighttime in the evenings when everything is done, she start talking to me, teaching me the name of this and that and the name of that. I don't know how to write it, but she didn't write it either. She just told me the things which I remember. And I looked this up. It makes sense because as a primarily oral culture, this is how the Ojibwe people had passed down knowledge and stories for generations.
Yep.
Following
they're a very, because like I think part of it is because of the nomadic nature that they were. Yeah, they didn't bother to write stuff down because that's one more thing you have to take with you then.
Exactly. And it's also like gathering around and telling stories and like it's such a big community builder.
Yeah.
And it's such an amazing way. Like I mean, this is not on the line of like the same kind of heritage traditions and stories that Ojibwe elders were telling to children. But my parents would tell me stories about like when they were first married and like how they got their first cat and stuff like that. And I loved it. I'm like, give me more lore.
Yeah.
I want the lore.
Well, it's like I've read that in so many different like books I've read too, whether like fiction or nonfiction, you know, of like storytellers and troubadours and, you know, all of the, you know, just this oral tradition. And I think it's sad that like we've kind of lost it. And I think that's one of the reasons I also enjoy doing a podcast, because it's kind of bringing it back.
We're definitely carrying on the oral tradition in our own way. So following her grandmother's example, Maud became adept at oral storytelling.
That's awesome.
Throughout her childhood, Maud suffered from a variety of childhood maladies such as chickenpox, measles, and mumps. There were no Western doctors in the area, so Ojibwe medicine men were entrusted with the health of her and others in the community. Okay. She learned about sacred medicine practices during Midewin. Oh, shit. I should have written down the pronunciation of that.
That sounds right.
These were Grand Medicine Society ceremonies.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Midewin ceremonies became an important part of Maud's life and would serve as the ultimate meet cute when in 1917 she met Martin Keg, a fellow Mille Lacs band member, at such a ceremony.
That's awesome.
In 1920, the couple were married in a traditional Ojibwe ceremony, having a Christian wedding like in a church 2 years later. So again, it's this merging, and it's like everything, like these two things that feel worlds apart are existing at the exact same time.
Yeah, like they don't need to be worlds apart.
Yes. No, exactly. They can, both things can exist together. Yeah. It's okay. You don't have to murder everyone.
No.
So the couple would go on to grow their family and continue living in the traditional Ojibwe seasonal cycle.
That's so cool.
In 1918, the Mille Lacs Indian Trading Post, a general store to serve the Ojibwe people, was opened. So this trading post sold everything from essentials like needles, thread, tools, clothing, flour, salt, and bread, to recreational items like candy, soda, and tobacco.
Okay, that's cool.
It was
Again, kind of that blend of like the more traditional stuff and the more modern stuff.
Yeah. So it was started by businessman Harry D. Eyre, who received a trader's license from the White Earth Indian Agency. The trading post became an important resource and gathering place for the Mille Lacs band of Ojibwe.
Okay.
To expand the business, the trading post traveled to Ojibwe communities across the area, such as Leech Lake and White Earth. Maud joined this traveling trading post, serving as a translator and
That's
helping
super
people
cool.
buy and sell things.
Yeah.
In March of 1925, the federal government forced the trading post to close down because I think they technically owned the land, and they were
Fucking government.
Go away now. Again, this is why it's so cool that the Mount Vernon Ladies Society is in control of that property. So instead of abandoning the endeavor, however, Eyre moved 3 miles south and rebuilt in Vinland Bay. Because Eyre owned the building outright, it offered more stability than the previous location.
There we go.
Along with his wife, Jeanette, Harry Eyre ran the trading post, with Harry traveling across the country to source goods, while Jeanette ran daily operations. And what was interesting about Harry, I didn't get super into him. I don't know what his heritage was.
Yeah.
He was definitely at least an ally to the Ojibwe people, but he would even travel in the Southwest and work with the tribes and nations down there and bring back and sell and buy goods to bring back to the trading post. Yeah. So they also had wares
stuff from farther away,
from different tribes and nations.
Tribes. Yeah. That's super cool.
So while Jeanette ran daily operations, she didn't do this alone. The store only employed local Ojibwe community members. Ojibwe craftsmen began building boats for sale in a small boatworks factory on the property, and the store also offered credit to Ojibwe customers, which greatly supported them during tough economic times.
That's amazing.
Ojibwe could trade their work or harvest yields to pay debts, and no one was ever turned away. This led to the store hosting a large collection of handcrafted Ojibwe art.
Yeah.
And this, of course, included Maud's own art. In 1930, Maud moved to Vinland Bay and began selling handmade bead chains, moccasins, and other traditional works to the trading post. She became very well known and highly regarded for her beadwork, rugs, basswood fiber dolls. Maud's beadwork in particular was something to behold. She was a master of Ojibwe floral designs and geometric loom beadwork techniques. She was one of the few Ojibwe able to produce a fully beaded traditional bandolier bag, which was a symbol of prestige and leadership that had been commonly worn by tribal leaders. So if you go in my notes, I couldn't reliably find a bag that she had made. Mm-hmm. I couldn't reliably find a picture.
I know it's generally what they kind of looked like.
But this is a bandolier bag, and you see all that design.
That's hand beaded.
It's hand beaded.
Holy crap, that had to take forever.
I actually saw a video recently where
it makes sense looking at it being not a lot of people know how to do this because it is very intricate.
Well, I saw a video recently where it was someone kind of showing how to do loom beadwork to make a bracelet. And I'm between getting the beads on there and counting out the beads and what's supposed to be where, and then weaving it through the thing, and I was I got overwhelmed watching the video. I'm whoa, this is too much. And then to do an entire bag like this.
Yeah.
And these were big. So typically they were worn around someone's neck and kind of hung down the front. And they were huge.
Yeah, this isn't a purse.
This isn't a keychain.
This is a backpack almost.
Yeah, on the front. It's a front pack.
There you go.
So as cars became more affordable in the 1920s and 30s, tourists came from the Twin Cities because they were now able to travel to northern Minnesota, leading to increased traffic for the trading post.
That's awesome.
To appeal to this growing audience, the trading post added cabins for rent, a dining hall, and a museum for Ojibwe artwork. I want to fucking go here. This sounds amazing.
Does it still exist?
Maud was a critical part of the museum's creation and construction, particularly its main attraction, the Four Seasons Room. This room featured a large diorama showcasing the seasonal living cycle that she and the Ojibwe traditionally followed. Each artifact in the exhibit was handmade by Maud herself.
Holy crap, that's so cool.
In addition, Maud became a tour guide at the museum, sharing her people's culture and history with visitors because she had the opportunity to live it.
Yeah.
You know, which that was, it can't be overstated. The way that she was able to like live her life and grow up was completely snatched
rare.
away from millions of others.
Yeah.
So the trading post was hugely successful, not only commercially, but in sharing and preserving the culture and traditions of the Ojibwe people. In 1959, the trading post closed operations, but they donated their entire collection to the Minnesota Historical Society.
Okay, I'm down for that.
Fret not, the Minnesota Historical Society reopened the trading post in 1960 as a historic site. Upon this transition, Maud continued her work as a cultural interpreter, but now as a Minnesota Historical Society employee.
Oh, that's cool.
Maud didn't only tell the story of the Ojibwe, but she used her traditional upbringing to demonstrate agricultural techniques and artistry.
Maud sounds like such a badass.
This woman has an 8th grade education. I just want to remind everyone of that. She graduated. She went to 8th grade.
And she's amazing.
In the 1970s.
This really goes to show, like, education, like, it can be important, but it's not all that matters.
Yes, absolutely.
Like traditional school education.
So, in the 1970s, Maud took her talent for storytelling and embarked on a new endeavor. She felt that the Ojibwe people were beginning to forget their history and culture. I mean, she was born like almost 70 years prior. And the world has, I mean, think of like 1904 to 1970.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't recognize anything anymore. So it makes sense, especially as people are being relocated, as people are modernizing.
Yeah, and as you're just not allowed to maybe live your culture anymore.
Right. Oh, yeah, like the Indian schools ripped a bunch of that away. Just absolutely terrible. So she felt the best way to preserve it was to write it down. So she published several books, such as When I Was a Little Girl, published in 1976, At the End of the Trail in 78, What My Grandmother Told Me in 83, and Portage Lake in 1991. She used her own experiences growing up with Ojibwe traditions and also employed the assistance of scholarly writers. So it's not just her being like, this is what I did. It's a combination of her real life experience, but also the, educated understanding of like, okay, and this is why, people do it this way. And this is why this makes sense.
That's super cool. Yeah.
On January 6th, 1996, when we were 5,
yep.
She was born in 1904. We were 5
That's
when
crazy.
she died. Like, just the expanse of time that this woman lived.
Like, we've covered other women that have lived through a lot, and this is definitely up there of, like, the changes in our nation that she lived through.
Maud Nawakami Gukwe Mitchell Keg took her last breath and joined her ancestors. And pretty much, I'm stealing that from pretty much every article I wrote about her. That is how they always listed her death, and I thought it was really beautiful.
That is beautiful.
That is beautiful. They're very
but it
proud
honors that heritage and everything.
Her legacy lives on in the knowledge she shared, the story she preserved, and the art that she created. Several of her art pieces are in the Ojibwe Craft Collection of the Smithsonian Institute.
Holy shit.
That's
amazing.
One of her beaded bandolier bags is a centerpiece for the American Federation of Arts touring exhibit called Lost and Found Native American Art 1965 to 1985.
Wow.
In 1986, in recognition for her contributions, Minnesota Governor Rudy Perpich Perpich, I think that's how you say it. It was before my time. Declared that August 26th be Mrs. Maud Keg Day to honor, quote, her many years of knowledge, wisdom, and efforts in the preservation of Ojibwe culture and language.
We'll have to put that on our calendar.
Yep. And I know that this is the holiday season, and there is a lot of shopping that people are doing, and especially people are trying to shop more responsibly. Like, I know I try to buy local a lot.
Yep.
I'm, staying away from Amazon, Target, Walmart, things like that. So at the end of my notes, I actually have a list of indigenous businesses with e-commerce. So anyone, doesn't matter where you live. So they're all based in Minnesota, but you can go and buy their stuff online. I will put this in the episode description. But Lakota Made is one of them. They sell like tinctures, honey, tea, soaps, things like that are all naturally made.
So cool.
Heartberry is one. Jess Dufree is an indigenous glassworks artist. So he carries on the millennia-old practice of lamp working, which is using a hot flame to melt glass and then forming the molten material into intricate shapes.
That's fancy.
There's Prairie Willow, who has actually so Skyanne Sickler, she didn't know much about her Ho-Chunk culture because her mom was placed in the foster care system at a young age, which, like we said, was very common. And so she has really embraced her heritage and like learning about it through art and has her own store called Prairie Willow. There's Red Lake Nation Foods, which has a bunch of like jams and preserves and other more traditional food items, which is awesome.
Okay.
And then the Natives, NTVS. If you're like a little more edgy, they're like they're an art-driven streetwear brand, and their shit looks fucking. I'm like, this is some really, really cool shit. So
I'm gonna be looking at all of those.
I have the names, the links, and brief descriptions. So thank you to exploreminnesota.com and the article by Kate Nelson that helped me find these people. Lakota Made I already knew about, but the others I was
I feel like of all of them, I feel like I've heard that one before.
They're based out of Mankato, so they're a bit closer to us.
Yeah, I think I've seen them at like different craft fairs and stuff.
But yeah, so get your fucking holiday shopping done by supporting native craftsmen, native artists.
Yay!
So Kelly, because it is our Thanksgiving episode,
we should actually talk about what we're thankful for.
I think we need to bring back the what we're thankful for.
You're going to make me start, aren't you?
I wasn't going to make you. I was going to ask if you would like to go first. I can go first otherwise. I have a good thankful thing.
I've kind of been thinking about it. It's been a year. That's what I like.
It has simultaneously been so fast, but I'm like,
it's been a year. Like
Egg and I were talking about how we went to Costa Rica. He's like, oh yeah, last year. And I'm like, no, that was this year.
It was earlier this year.
That was in 2025. And he's like, oh my God. And I'm like, no, I feel the same way because I feel like I went to Washington, D.C. 2 years ago. Months ago.
At the beginning of...
It was in May.
Yeah.
San Francisco also kind of feels like... We went to San Francisco at the beginning of the year. No, that was like 2 months ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been a lot. Anyways, I was just going to say, like, I'm really thankful, because I've been thinking about this. I'm really thankful for, like, where I'm at and, like, how this year has been. Like, if we actually look at, like, last November, like, it started pretty rough. Like, some crappy things happened. I ended up changing jobs and just like all of this stuff, and it was really stressful and kind of awful, and there was a lot going on. And I look at like, and I remember like looking at Justin around this time of year and just being like, it doesn't feel like the holidays to me. Like, I'm not in the holiday spirit, like. And it never came for me last year. Like, I never was in, like, the Christmas... I didn't even put up my Christmas tree last year. Like there was just too much going on. And I looked at Justin yesterday as we were on the way to like celebrate with my family. And I was like, I already can tell just how much better I am like feeling this year. Cause I'm like, I'm already thinking about, oh, I should put up the tree and da da da. And so like, I'm just really thankful for kind of like, I'm not thankful for the stuff that happened. And I still think a lot of it's really dumb, but I'm thankful for where I've ended up. And I'm thankful for all the people that have been on the journey with me, from you, from Justin, you know, our listeners, this podcast, and just, you know, I know it's overarching, but at the same time, it's like, when I was thinking about that, because, you know, they asked us at work and stuff too, that I was just like, yeah, I'm really thankful for just having people that were there for me when shit was going wrong and that are still there for me, even though things are going okay. You know, and I'm thankful for the new place I work and the people I work with. And yeah, just thankful for how my life is right now. Like, is it perfect? No, there's no such thing as perfect, but yeah, compared to like where I was this time last year, I'm thankful to be where I am.
I really love that. And I really love how you said you're not thankful for the bad things that happened. You are thankful for where you landed. Because I feel like people try to frame bad things happening as like, it's a blessing in disguise. No. It just fucking sucks.
Right.
And your ability to come out of that, to come out of the other side.
It doesn't mean that things should have happened.
Right. But your ability to come out of the other side is a testament to your strength, not that hardship was a secret blessing. It's like, no. You took shit and you spun it into gold.
Yeah.
I love that. I am thankful for all the kiddos in my life. They're all happy and healthy, and there's another one.
Yay, new kiddos.
Friend of the podcast who brought us Olga of Kiev, Jory, had her baby.
Yay.
And I was trying to think about what his nickname would be, because I don't use the real names or the full names of the kids in my life on the podcast, because it feels weird. So I got Q, Baby J, Lolo, Pedro. And this one is going to be Onion Warrior. Because
all right,
before he was born, they hadn't had a name. They didn't like have a name picked out. They want to meet him and see. So I was calling him Untitled Baby Project, or Unnamed Baby Project, and then I was texting Jory and I was asking what his name was. You know, I'm like, now that he's like
weird to call him
out, it feels like weird to call him Untitled Baby Project. And she's like, we have a name, but we're not sure. Like we're pretty sure this is going to be the name. And she's like, I've been calling him Unnamed Warrior, because he's a little preemie and he's doing well. And when I was telling Egg about this, he thought I said Onion Warrior. And I was like, that's amazing. It's done. He's an onion warrior.
There you go. He's an onion. Well, it's like, this is a big thing on like the internet. So I'm sure some of our listeners know, but I don't know how much you go on Reddit in particular. But on like packaging where it says like not for kids, there's like a little baby head, and it looks like a little onion. And it looks like a sad onion. And so people on Reddit, and me and Justin do it now too, that like it'll say like 0 to 3 and then have the baby picture with like a circle around it. And so it's 0 to 3 sad onions.
0 to 3 sad onion. I love that.
So that's what it made me think of.
Okay, so like, I'm not completely off base here by calling him Little
works.
Onion Warrior.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But yeah, so Onion Warrior has entered the chat, and
he's adorable.
I already told Jory, I'm like, I'm going to ruin your child, right? Like, I'm going to spoil him and completely ruin him for you and everyone else. She's like, yeah, I know.
As long as she knows, that's the important thing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Also, of course, it should go without saying, but we're going to say it anyway. We are so thankful for y'all for listening to us for
Seriously.
6 fucking years. Jesus Christ.
For however long you've been here, but
So much has
some
changed.
of you have been here. Oh God, yeah.
Oh my God. We need to do like a retrospective, like where we started and where we are or something.
We should. But
again,
that'd be
thank
fun.
you so much for listening to another episode of Whining About Herstory. Like us on Facebook at Whining About Herstory, Instagram at WAHPad.
Our website is whiningaboutherstory.com, where you can find a link to all of those things, a link to all of our episodes, as well as our merch. We have some pretty badass designs, and I think we have a holiday sale coming up. I'm not 100% sure. I can make one happen, though. We also have a link to our Buy Me a Coffee, where you can sponsor a glass of wine for $5. And for those of you that have sponsored recently, we will be getting to that. I know we haven't yet, and I'm sorry, but I love you. It's been busy and we haven't been wine shopping recently. Anyways, we also have our Patreon, where you can donate for as little as $1 a month and get some bonus content, including the upcoming Emily Getting Me Drunk and me talking about the Greek pantheon.
We were going to do it last
I almost
week,
died.
but Kelly was sick. And here's the thing. I want her to feel like death without actually dying.
Yeah, but we have it scheduled. And so it'll come out probably like mid-ish December as an early Christmas present.
Happy holidays, bitches!
Yay!
Also raise 5 stars wherever you listen, because it pisses off all the right people.
It gives us the warm fuzzies in
So many
all the
warm
right
fuzzies.
places.
I feel it in my bones.
In my marrow.
In my fucking marrow. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Whining About Herstory. I'm Emily.
I'm Kelly.
Have an empowered day, y'all.
Bye.
You know what? Have that second helping of pie. You fucking earned it.
Seriously, and
You
all
deserve
the whipped
it.
cream.